I do my best. I do what I can, and just if I see an opening, I think it's important that I go.
The microphone was still on. The official didn't know anyone could hear. And somewhere in that arena, with thousands of Filipino fans packed into the stands, something was said about Alex Eala's family that was never supposed to go public. The video has many views and a comment section that reads like a courtside riot. None of it happened, but millions believed it anyway. And to understand why, you need to know what actually did happen inside the courts where Alex plays.
Eala from the Philippines could be the next big thing in pro tennis.
This was a massive spot to be in for such a young talent, to have a sold-out crowd completely behind.
To do well on the WTA tour. I'm super proud of what I was able to accomplish, but the end goal is to win slams.
Because this story was not built from nothing. The content factories had real material to work with, real incidents, real outrage, real moments that never made the mainstream news, but burned through Filipino fan communities like wildfire. Tonight, we trace exactly where this rumor came from and why the truth behind it is more explosive than anything a hot microphone could ever catch. December 2025. Alex Eala is playing the gold medal final at the Southeast Asian Games against Thailand's Maninkaya Sawango on home soil, in front of a crowd that wanted her to lose 0.3 consecutive line calls went against her. Not close calls. Not debatable moments. 3 calls so obviously wrong that the chair umpire overruled every single one of them. Eala walked to the umpire's chair, calm but firm, and requested the linesman be removed. The request was granted mid-match on the gold medal stage. The linesman was later sanctioned for professional misconduct. That incident alone would have been enough to fuel a narrative. But the controversies did not stop there at the U.S. Open 2025. Eala was clawing back from 15 down in the deciding third set against Clara Tolson when a pivotal net cord ruling went in her favor. Chair umpire Caternini reviewed the footage and stood by his decision. Tan refused to accept it. She stood at the baseline, hands on hips, arguing in front of nearly 8,000 fans, the majority of them Filipino, for several minutes. The stadium erupted. The moment went viral, and the image of an official being challenged over a ruling connected to Eala burned itself into the collective memory of her fan base.
20-year-old Filipino tennis star Alex Eala has sent Melbourne Park crowds into an absolute frenzy.
I saw the other day with Alex Eala, you know, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. You know, there's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines.
Then came Alicia Parks. After a match in 2026, Parks directed comments toward Eala that crossed a line no competitor should cross, targeting Eala's mother, Riza, who had been battling serious health issues. The WTA responded. Parks was fined and handed a suspension. It was a player, not an official. A post-match incident, not a live on-court moment. But the detail that mattered to millions of Filipino fans was simple. Someone attacked Alex Eala's family, and the WTA came down on them for it. That detail would later become the load-bearing wall of a story that never happened. Jessica Pegula did not stay quiet either. The former world number 3, and one of the most respected voices on tour, publicly called out the WTA for what she described as disrespect toward Eala, specifically over intrusive mid-match bag checks carried out while Eala was competing in front of sold-out crowds. Then a suspension followed. No formal action was taken. But the image of a major champion standing up and pointing directly at the institution responsible for running the sport and saying this is wrong added another layer of legitimate grievance to a fan base already primed for outrage. And then the Qatar Open 2026 that Eala's opponent Teresa Valentova was provisionally suspended mid-tournament for integrity violations. The timing, the circumstances, the atmosphere surrounding the match pushed Mike Eala, Alex's father, to speak publicly. His daughter had been insulted. He said the situation had gone too far, that a father defending his child on the record at a professional tennis tournament while an opponent faced a suspension.
Along with the wins, I think that would really touch me.
So young, and she's just coming through, so and obviously the first couple rounds, the schedule is so packed, most of the slams and tournaments, you know, so I mean it's a good sign. I mean, obviously we want more attention, more people coming and wanting to watch the tennis live and follow it.
Every ingredient was now on the table. Content factories do not create from scratch. They curate, compress, and corrupt. Take everything above. The sanctioned linesman, the park suspension over family insults, the Pigula call-out, the father's public statement, the mid-match integrity violation, and run it through an algorithm designed to maximize rage. And you get something that looks exactly like the video currently circulating with millions of views. The mechanics are straightforward once you see them. Parks was a player, so they made her an official. The family insult happened after a match in a private exchange, so they moved it onto the court mid-game in front of thousands. The C-game linesman was sanctioned through a formal process after the tournament, so they collapsed that timeline into a single live moment. A suspension happening in real time while cameras rolled. Mike Eala's Qatar statement about his daughter being insulted became the emotional hook, stripped of context and repackaged as confirmation that something sinister had been caught on a microphone.
In a major way, not just for herself, but for her country and for the next generation watching. This is more than a moment. It's the beginning of something powerful.
She has more confidence and she goes for her shots without any doubt, I would say.
This was definitely one of the bigger Filipino turnouts. Also, New York was huge.
The hot mic detail is the masterstroke of the whole construction that IT answers the question every skeptic would ask. If this happened, where is the proof? The mic was on. You heard it yourself, except there is no audio. There is no verified clip. There's no WTA statement, no tournament response, no mainstream sports outlet that reported a single word of it. What exists are YouTube thumbnails, Facebook reposts, and comment sections full of people who are already angry enough to believe it before they press play. This is the 20% fact, 80% fiction formula that powers the entire ecosystem of Eala misinformation. Enough real tension to make the fake story feel inevitable. Enough genuine grievance to make verification feel unnecessary. The WTA has a formal disciplinary process. Official suspensions, especially ones carried out live on court during a match, generate paperwork, statements, and press coverage. They leave a trail. The park suspension left a trail. The Volontova integrity violation left a trail. The SEA Games linesman sanction left a trail. Every real incident connected to Alex Eala in the past 12 months is documented, reported, and verifiable. This one has a YouTube thumbnail and a comment section. Rappler and Verifiles, the two most rigorous fact-checking operations in the Philippines, have spent the better part of a year dismantling fabricated Eala stories. The Marcos bonus that never existed. The Sheikh Mansour billion-dollar contract. The homeless shelter donation. Each one followed the same architecture, a real emotional foundation, a fictional event built on top of it, and a distribution network of Facebook pages designed to reach Filipino communities before the correction could catch up. This story is no different. The only thing that changes is the villain. This time, it is not a billionaire dangling money. It is an institution failing to protect one of its own. That framing is deliberate. Targeting the WTA as the antagonist is smarter than targeting an individual because it taps into something real. The legitimate frustration of fans who watched Eala get scheduled on secondary courts, subjected to mid-match bag checks, and overlooked by a tour that has been slow to recognize just how significant her commercial value has become.
All the emotions are coming because the tension was so high, especially during that second set. She's a great opponent, obviously being top 10 and a former champion here. So to be able to compete with her at this level is a great achievement for me.
She's being told X, Y, and Z, and I don't think you can get out of there. Well, the crowd are seeing the pictures on the big screen.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana
Super happy.
Totally understand the emotion right now.
Success along with the wins, I think that would really touch.
The outrage was already there. The video just gave it a specific target and a fictional event to attach itself to. What actually deserves your attention is the career they are exploiting to build these stories in the first place. Born on May 23, 2005 in Quezon City, Alexandra Eala began competing on the ITF circuit at 14 years old. Her mother, Riza, was a national-level competitive swimmer who won bronze at the 1985 Southeast Asian Games. Her father, Mike, has been a visible vocal presence throughout her rise. Tennis in the Eala household was never casual. It was always a serious undertaking pursued with the kind of discipline that does not announce itself loudly, but shows up in the results. The results have been extraordinary. That in 2022, she became the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam junior singles title, claiming the girls category at the U.S. Open before most of the tennis world had any idea who she was. She ground through ITF events across Europe and Asia for the next 2 years, quietly building a game that would eventually embarrass players. Ranked decades above her, Miami 2025 was the moment everything changed. Entering as a wild card ranked 141st in the world, she defeated Jelena Ostapenko, then Madison Keys ranked 5th, then EGA ranked 2nd. 3 consecutive major champions, all in straight sets, to reach the semifinal of a WTA 1000 event.
Tennis ace Alex Eala has officially broken into the WTA top 40. Alex Eala is set to compete in the singles and doubles events.
With energy like that, you don't get tired, so it was good.
And Alex, so good to have you out here for the first time. How special was that?
It was tough because it also depends what court you're on, you know, that you feel the noise and things.
Tennis star Alex Eala advances to the Dubai WTA 1000 quarterfinals. Sheila Salaysay has that story.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to come on here and thank every single one of you for your support, taking the time and effort out of your day to be there and cheer me on with the other girls. It means so much, especially at this time of the year. I couldn't thank you more, and I had such a fun time playing here.
No wild card in history had ever defeated 3 major champions in straight sets at a single WTA event. She lost to Jessica Pegula in the last 4, but by then, the tennis world had already been forced to pay attention. She won her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara later that year, reached her first turf final at Eastbourne, finished 2025 ranked 50th in the world. Then in just February 2026, her ranking climbed to a career best 40th, the highest any Filipino player, male or female, has ever been ranked in the history of the sport. Her Dubai run that same month, where she defeated Jasmine Polini in straight sets and reached the quarterfinals before falling to world number 4 Coco Gauff, earned her $98,500 in prize money.
Thank you, Jasmine, she says. Paulini gracious as ever in defeat. The former champion is out. Alexandra Eala. What are you going to do next? That is some win.
Her career prize money stands at approximately $1.49 million. That number will look very small in a few years. She is 20 years old, ranked inside the top 40, and almost certainly seated at a Grand Slam for the first time at Rolando's in May. The content factories chasing her name for clicks are, in their own twisted way, a measure of how far she has come. Nobody fabricates stories about players nobody cares about. The next time a video lands in your feed with an all-caps headline and a comment section built entirely on outrage, pause before you share it. Ask where the audio is. Ask which outlet reported it. The answer will tell you everything. Alex Eala's real story needs no hot microphone, no suspended official, no manufactured villain that a 20-year-old from Cousin City, breaking records that have stood for decades and selling out arenas from Manila to Dubai. That is already more dramatic than anything a content factory could ever build. Follow her real journey right here. We covered all that. If this helped you spot the fake, like this video, share it with every Filipino fan you know, and subscribe so you never miss the real story.